Hey, GLP-1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better and my hot flashes are all but gone. Thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster. Confidence higher. Price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Your Mounjaro stick as a microphone.
Oh my goodness. Yes, there we go. Oh, you're just like a news reporter just like that.
Especially with the fancy earrings.
When you do TikToks that are news related, that's exactly what you should do, is use your Mounjaro mic. It would be, I'm telling you, that show would go viral. It's hilarious. Do it. You can take it. That one's for free. That's okay. As your marketing friend, that one's for free. Yes.
No, well, this is just absolutely great. Of course, I wear a white t-shirt and my coffee spilled everywhere
just now.
But at least it's So, but that's okay. That's okay.
Whenever I wear white, I spill something. Either out of wine.
I don't wear white. I have issues with white because someone told me I looked like Shamu at a wedding when I was growing up. And I've never been able to wear white ever again.
We got to talk about this later. We got to have to,
I'm just saying. I can't wear white. And then I also quit wearing red for a really long time because someone said that I looked like the Kool-Aid guy.
You totally know that.
Yeah. So, but now I do. I rock red. I just haven't crossed to white yet. I'm getting there.
Great color.
It'll be like my bravery thing. I don't know. We'll see. And then I'll play like, I'm coming out, and then we'll like do a dance. It'll be great.
Fire engine red.
I can see the TikTok. I can see it.
There we go.
Red is a universally flattering color on all women. So you should use it. You should wear it.
Okay. Anyway,
So, hey, y'all. So we're here talking like
Hey!
you know us. I mean, we're well into season 1. We're probably going to be doing season 2 here soon. So I'm still trying to figure out those logistics. Fun times. We're a little messy today. And I'm sorry, but I started on 10 milligrams and this is my second box. And frankly, I'm exhausted. I'm like straight exhausted. And like the community says, the 10 is 10ing and I'm feeling it hard. So if I'm not my usual self, that's because why? But the girls are here to help pick up the slack. So it'll be fine. If you don't know me and you're like, who is this crazy person talk about this thing? My name's Kim. And this podcast here was born out of the TikTok community, GLP-1s. And we were taking it for several different things: obesity, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, PCOS, metabolic disorders, yada, yada. And we all met there and decided, you know what? We want to have an opportunity to talk about these things at a deeper level, longer form content, really dig in and have, professionals come on and specialists in certain areas to help us really understand this and remove a lot of the, I say, stigma that's involved around treating obesity medically, which is absolutely insane that even still exists in my opinion. So, that's what we're doing here. And we're super glad that you're here and you want to be a part of it. Yay. We're glad you found us.
We're stoked.
Yeah. If you want to hear more about my community story, it is on the first episode and you can hear, and that's what we do here too. So we have a community guest on every week and they come on and share their story unfiltered and uncut because we are not the news. We are a podcast. And that's what we're doing here. Yeah. So that's who I am. That's what's up. Hey, JT, what you doing? How you doing? Outside of the whole coffee lap situation, I feel like you're going to sue. Is it a McDonald's thing? Like, yep. I don't know. Are only old people know that? Only old people are going to know that reference.
That is
suing McDonald's for the coffee.
Look, you know what? Anything's possible.
Right?
Sidetracking, but that poor lady didn't get paid any of it. It was like ambulance chasers, attorneys.
Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
for another day. Yeah.
She didn't get any another day. Out of it. That's for a live. We talk about crap like that on lives.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Well, hey, ladies. I feel like I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
We saw you like less than like days ago. We did a live.
Well, I mean, like in person.
Well, it has been that long since in person. Yeah.
But I got to see him on Sunday. But
yes. Yeah. You all got together. I was at Magnolia Cafeteria here eating fried catfish and mashed potatoes and a vegetable medley. So I figured that I'd round it out with that.
Yeah, Yeah, sure.
But I am the Janine. I think you all know me by now. I'm the one that is usually in the position where Kat is in, but for the first time, I actually like logged in a little early. So I was like on it today. I was on it. But I am the Janine. I'm there. I'm the Janine on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I figured that
the Janine,
the Janine, because the world can only take one. And I figured that I would be consistent. So with me being consistent, I'm consistently a type 2 diabetic, but that's getting better. Yay. My obesity is getting better. I'm so excited. My metabolic age now is 52.
Yeah.
Instead of 56.
That's great.
So, yes. So, yeah.
I do the Zoomies,
quick
but
plug for Rimpo Scale.
Yeah. That's what Lee does.
I'm so happy to be with these ladies. I joined TikTok. I officially did like my first video at the beginning of February. I had to Google how to do it. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that this community existed, but look what has come out of it.
Look what has come out of it.
There you are. And thank you for being with us today. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. What about you, Kat? What's up? Who you at? What you doing?
I really appreciate everybody. Yeah. Hey, just saw you on Sunday, Kim.
I know.
Did you
we didn't spend any time together?
No,
the cakes were good, by the way.
Yeah, I made baby shower cupcakes. Did you guys see my TikTok that I posted? I was like, I need to stop having children in August because it's hot like the equator outside. You need to stop getting it on Thanksgiving.
I saw that.
August babies out loud.
Look,
and I said tongue in cheek, it's only jokes. because I'll still make your cupcakes. But I was like, I don't know what's going on during Thanksgiving.
It's a joke. I'll still make your cupcakes.
I'm a winter baby. My mom had to struggle through pregnancy through the entire summer with me.
My dad traumatized me when I was young. Well, he's like, "You were conceived on New Year's Eve." Oh my God!
My mom told me the same thing. I was like, I don't need to know that.
No, that's TMI, y'all.
That's why I like the party.
I really don't. Thanks, Mom.
But anyway, that is way off track. Hey, I'm Kat.
Hey, Kat. Kat makes cupcakes
I make cupcakes. I'm Kat Carter 7 on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, either Loudmouth Bakes or Mrs. Kat Carter. Oh, MRS. I was supposed to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
no, I was just drinking.
Say hi to our AT alien.
Let her check.
Oh, that's right. Our mascot, the AT alien.
The AT alien.
I moved everything around with his Prince theme. I was with my Prince shrine behind me. And I've been a binger forever. Mounjaro is really helping me not binge, along with therapy and other things. And I've lost 65 pounds.
Congratulations. Awesome, Kat. Yes. So this medicine has definitely changed our lives, brought us together, brought us amazing friends and a supportive community that have helped us change, I would say, like behaviors. I don't like to call them bad habits because I think that they only existed because we were sick, but I think just creating new habits and healthier habits have been possible to make them and keep them and move forward. And like having the support system has made all the difference in the land, for me this time, I would say. This time is the last time.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move to the next part. Now, before I get started, even though we have doctors on often on the show that are guests, they are doctors, but they are not your doctor. This is not meant to be medical advice, but it is meant to help you feel like you can advocate for your health and ask the right questions to your doctor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to say going forward. Also, and I should mention this, we're going to talk about emotional eating today. So we're going to talk about the intersection between emotional eating and endocrine therapy or GLP-1 therapy. Okay. And we're going to have Dr. High on with us to talk about that after we meet with Cory to discuss his community story. Hey, Cory, welcome.
Hi, Cory.
We're so glad to have you. Hi.
Hey, this is surreal. Can I just put it that way? It's, this is really, really trippy.
On TikTok.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys are on my, on my feed. Some of the first people that I followed. So this is wild. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I'm pretty new to TikTok. I'm an old guy. So, I'm still, it's like, what's happening right now? You know what I mean? So, this is really.
I like your TikToks. I was like, I
love
sold
her content.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, when you put your kid in your pants, that was hilarious. It was so funny because that's how much how big his pants were.
I don't want to drag my kids too much into my pathos. You know what I mean? But he's so my kids are adorable. I mean, I know I'm supposed to say that.
Yes, indeed.
I want to share them with the world, but it's just a crazy, kind of medium and landscape and you mentioned, just coming into this community and all that kind of stuff. And it's been, I don't know. You just,
all the things
you summed it up. I have nothing to say. You told my whole story just now,
No, that can't happen. No.
So I can get some filler in here for you. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we're super glad to have you. As I mentioned earlier, like one of the reasons we wanted to start this is because I felt like people were taking like clips of people's testimonies on TikTok and their like stories of their lives being changed and like cutting them and shrinking them to fit their story and their angle and their agenda. And I just like, it made me really upset. And I just thought it's not right. So I want you to have an opportunity, just like I do for everyone in our community, if I can. I'm trying. I do 2 shows a week at this point. I'm really trying.
Well, you do amazing work
for them to be able to. But please take the opportunity to take the space and tell your story however you want, unfiltered, uncut.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to wing it like I do everything, right?
Yeah.
Part of me, when I was just kind of thinking about this, when I was watching your show, and I've watched a few of them and seen so many amazing stories. That's besides all the stuff that you see, you know, in your feeds and the things that people are going through. And I, you know, kind of you feel in some ways like you're like, am I intruding on this space? I have, you know, some things in my favor that, you know, that make my story a little bit different. You know, I did not have to struggle with the coupons and the things like that. I was covered under insurance. And my the weight loss when it started happening was super, you know, very dramatic, very quick. Yeah. And so that's just, I don't know, that's just the whole thing. But, you know, this story, for me, you know, I think like it is for so many people, you know, you start, you know, young. Food has so many, you know, just ties into our lives, right? You know, it's a family thing. You get together, you know, it can be associated with powerfully strong memories and good times. And it's also a place where people, sometimes you go into a dark space and, you know, you go there with food. My parents, you know, my dad was, and still is, you know, very disciplined, military guy in great shape, phenomenal shape, you know, great self-control. My mom, on the other hand, always, I mean, we'll say, you know, just very unhealthy weight, you know, she knew it. To her credit, like just soldiered on and did what she could. But, you know, in her later years, you know, it became something that was, you know, just a problem. And when I think about growing up, you know, one of the things that she would do, you know, my dad kind of strict, you know, a perfectionist, expecting a lot from us, and kind of hard on you, you know, you have these expectations. And then mom, nurturing, warm, supportive, cupcakes, you know, food, and all that kind of thing. So it was kind of natural, I guess, that I developed a sweet tooth. But like, for me, I think maybe it was a little bit different than, like, I know my sister wasn't sneaking downstairs in the middle of the night to raid the ice cream sandwiches or punch holes into Hawaiian bread loaves and things like that. And it's not like a formative memory I have, but it's something that I've remembered kind of looking back. I'm like, yeah, you know, you know, they hid food for me, you know what I mean? Like, and rightfully get it, you know, like, wow. So I have always kind of, at least when I was younger, I was active. I played sports in school, and then just was always kind of like a high energy kind of person. So, and then I worked, I've always worked like physical jobs, warehouses, things like that. So I think for me, for a long time, I was kind of able to at least hold some of these, you know, things in check, just, you know, by just pure activity. You know, I don't think I have any kind of a crazy good metabolism. But I think also maybe what happened in my particular case is that I just kind of was born with a frame that kind of stores stuff in, you know, less obvious places. So there would just kind of be like weird little times, you know, I'd be like, oh, you know, I don't know. I never thought of myself as necessarily like anything, you know what I mean? I was focused on other, you know, stuff, just trying to, you know, figure out what I was doing with, say, music or art or, you know, chasing love or doing things that you do. But, you know, every once in a while somebody would say something, you know, a friend might be like, whatever, you know, fat ass. You'd be like, what, really, me? You know, like, and then you kind of be like, I don't, you know, like, and it creeps. But it creeps a little bit, you know, you just, it's, you know, at first you're just kind of like, oh, you know, and then I don't know when it starts to really penetrate your mind and you start looking at yourself in the mirror and you can't even, do you remember when, see, I'm old, we're all like, you know, like Gen Xers here, right? Like, yeah, so like,
it's safe to say we all are.
I remember there was an invention called the True Mirror that came out, you know, and it was supposed to be a big deal because all mirrors are distorted, right? You see yourself reversed. There's some degree of warping or distortion that happens. And they had come up with some scientific method that had created an image basically that was how other people really saw you, I guess. And people would look at this and break into tears and just like, you know, because we never, I guess the reason I'm bringing it up is you just don't really ever know what you look like, let alone like, you know, people's, you know, kind of feelings and perspectives that kind of color that, right? And yet we're meant to be these kind of avatars and understand and, live in this space, but you don't know what you look like. And then, I don't know, then, then it just, I'm sorry if that just doesn't make any sense.
No,
but,
it makes total sense. It's like that. It's like that filter they have on TikTok where you have it inverted. You know what I mean? Have you seen that? It's the same idea as the mirror,
yeah,
right? Like
people are like, yeah. So for me, I just,
total sense.
It starts to kind of creep on you. And then, that's, I don't know. Is it that first time you have trouble tying your shoe, bending over, or that, that grunt,
that's worst.
Your clothes are rubbing, how did this shirt shrink so much? How's this even possible? I just bought this. I watched it once. What happened? Machine first. And, and you start to, it just starts to build, right? You start to, clothes shopping sucks, is an ordeal. People are judging you. They're looking at you. Going to the pool, going to the beach. Right? Like, I mean, I remember being a kid and watching, the shirt guy at the pool, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna be the shirt guy. And then I was
the shirt guy. Oh, the guy's wearing the shirts.
Yeah, you're like,
I was always a shirt girl.
As it comes to you, you're like, yeah,
totally.
This was before rash guards too, because we were extra pale when we were kids. My mom would put shirts on us because we got crispy. So
you were a lobster. Yeah,
like a recent thing for me. I think I was, I don't know, having a darker complexion and stuff maybe before the ozone layer completely burned, but now I'm just like, I feel weird. I'm like, are black people supposed to wear sunscreen? I'm like, I don't, it wasn't part of, my culture coming up. You know what I mean? Like, we did not do that.
Exactly. They did not.
And I don't want to, you kind of don't want to, it's like, you don't want to be in there like, you're like, it's like, a kid buying like condoms, or you're like, just like, it's for my wife is Caucasian. It's for her, like, like
we didn't do that. It was like sunscreen. We didn't need that. We had natural protection from the sun. That's what we were taught.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is susceptible, but
it's So now our sun tanning podcast. You're
sorry. We take it left. We just bring it back home.
Yeah, this is just how we roll here. It's cool. Like, you're fitting in real good. It's all good.
It feels easy. So, I mean, eventually, I guess my life was just kind of, I don't know. People are polite. Some people said, like, they're just like, I never even noticed until you, and you're like, that's bullshit though. I mean, I knew how I felt. And it was weird. So like, I guess like one of the big formative points. So, I started to, my sweet tooth, and then I'm drinking sodas like there's no tomorrow. Coke was like my, thing. And so I got to a point a couple of years ago where I was just drinking, like, I would drive to work, a 40-minute drive to work, and stop at McDonald's and pick up 2 large Cokes. One maybe frozen, one just to mix it up. I needed this. It just was a drive. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, liking it to that just extreme food noise, those like hardcore compulsions. Totally. And then I started getting up in the night to, pee every hour and go to the doctor. And he's like, bro, diabetes so hard. I think my original glucose level was in like the 300s or 4. It was like crazy. Like, I mean, he was like, dude, Cory. I was like, hey. Well, I mean, I went and got my blood tested too right after. You're supposed to fast. I think I probably drank a Coke as I was
on the way to get the tested.
I know I did, because I couldn't at that point. My routine in terms of food, I was ordering. I mean, I'm Grubhub, bro. I've got executive like coming to my door, like my 3 tacos and a burrito and this kind of stuff. Just really wanting to. Mm-hmm. That comfort that you get when you find those things that you really, really like to eat, and just that flood of just
the endorphins. I think it gives you a little rush. Yeah. I need that rush. Serotonin. I need something. It's something.
It's a lot of things, and as we are learning more, or at least I'm learning more about kind of the obesity science end of things.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that makes this whole thing kind of vexing. It's like, all right, well, we're told, that we're supposed to just kind of, everybody has a different body type. And so, this is true too. Like, there's healthy weight and this and that. BMI is definitely not something you should be living your life off of. But at the same time, it's like, you're not in control of this necessarily either. You know what I mean? Like, it's not you just being like, little chocolate boy who has to break up through the fridge like that. That compulsion like was a hardcore drive. I mean, I don't, it's weird when people aren't like necessarily like scheduling interventions for you, but like every time you open your car door, like a pile of like, Burger King bags falls out, and they know, like, you're just sitting there, like, you've got ketchup stains all over your shit. And it's just like, I don't know why people, and then the thing is like my wife, would be like, I'm kind of concerned about your eating, and I would get like super defensive about it, like, you can't judge me. I just, I don't, you know what I mean?
We all felt that way. I promise, Cory, like you were amongst people that get it.
Like I said, I guess we're targeted though, right? I mean, that's what this stuff is for. It's designed to make you feel that way, to kind of to boost those things. And for whatever reason, I was finding solace there that maybe I wasn't finding, somewhere else. And, just going along my merry way, got diagnosed with diabetes, got put on metformin, really, really started to pay attention to my diet at first. It started to lose a little bit of weight. And was doing all that. And I saw a nutritionist. This is funny because, they're like, you have to assemble a health team. And I'm like, okay, nutritionist, go. So she was all like, wow, that you're great. I love that you're on the right path. You're changing stuff. Usually you have to drag people in kicking and screaming. And I'm like, well, I saw the foot guy and he told me he was cutting off toes. So I was taking that shit pretty seriously. I'm like, so right. She was like, this was the first hint. She goes, there's this drug, just so you know, for insulin that people have been losing weight on it. And she was talking about Ozempic, this was a couple years ago. And I was like, oh, well, do go on. I could use it, and she's like, yeah, it's an injectable. And I was like, okay, no, thank you. And I really don't like needles. So that was like a thing for me. So, I was doing fine. My mom passed. It was that whole hellish kind of thing that happened to her. She was a prisoner in her body. And, one of the things that I truly, truly believe is that my mom, if this drug had been available through her formulary as part of her treatment plan, because she couldn't regulate, she couldn't stop eating sugar. She couldn't stop eating crap. She could not stop that noise. The same noise that drove me downstairs and into the fridge at night. She didn't have anything like that. And I just know that I think it really would have saved her life. And so, hello guilt, when this finally happens to me. But I kind of fell off, the metformin was doing enough. I quit drinking soda. The metformin was doing enough to keep my blood sugar kind of not insane. And I was kind of fine with it. And I guess I was getting fatter again and not really noticing or ignoring it or whatever. And then I went to my last physical and it was like at 280 pounds. And, I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And I had just seen that 60 Minutes thing that they had done on Mounjaro. That had just, they had talked to Stephen, I always mess up his name, but the Hungry Brain, that guy, the author of that thing, which really goes into, if you're not familiar, it's a book that really goes into the neuroscience behind obesity and all the physical,
neuroscience, you say?
Yeah, he's basically
Is he a neurologist?
He's sort of kind of like he studies brain science. That's his
brain science. Wow. Ooh, I'm gonna get him on the show.
Brain science guy.
That's it.
You just saw the gears.
It's an amazing book. He talks about a whole range of things. It's not just like this is the one thing. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, and it was really kind of convincing. So I spoke to my doctor. I was like, look, I would love a chance at seeing if this can kind of provide the same kind of results. And he went for it. I think he was honestly curious. He's like, oh, let's see if it works. Go ahead, guinea pig, you want to try that shit? So
I'm sure he didn't say it like that, but I like that.
Go ahead, get it. You want to try that shit?
You want to try that shit? I love it.
Your bedside manner is lacking, good sir. But he got me the good stuff, right? So
yeah,
well, so I go to TikTok, now I'm like, to try to find, the first thing when you go online, you're just like Mounjaro and TikTok pops up. And I'm like, well, TikTok, that's for the kids. I don't know. But I went on there and I saw like y'all's, just on there talking about it. And, there were things about, Mounjaro starter kits and what you should have in the fridge and things like that. I thought it was so awesome. I thought it was really cool. I didn't see a lot of guys, but I was just like, this is really awesome.
They're getting there. They're coming around.
There's some and people who actually preceded me who are like awesome. And, I found them since, I don't feel like a special snowflake anymore.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast is partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus-sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus-sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Oh, so sad.
I don't have to be a snowflake. It's fine. So, the rest, as they say, is history. The Mounjaro for me, as it is for so many people, like, you don't want to be like, miracle, but then it's like, oh, wait, like, this not only, change, shut off the food noise, which immediately, like, if opens up an immense swath of mental bandwidth all of a sudden.
Yes.
You're not, focused on this stuff. Now it's like it's awesome. I love that you were talking about habits earlier, because I think that, like, at some point, and this is where I'm kind of at right now in my journey, I lost 70 pounds in 4 point something months, and
wow, my goodness.
Wow. That, let me tell you, I don't want to be like, wow, poor me, but it messes with you like, I just feel like I'm in all these movies. I'm like, it's like Thinner, I'm like, I pissed off a gypsy, and, like, I have to sell a pie now. But it's too, but
to go on mute when I'm laughing that hard. I'm sorry.
I'm trying not to do it.
I just see you
pissed off a gypsy. Who was it?
The gypsy was right. Piss off gypsies. And I know that's actually. I apologize. That could be an offensive. I'm not even joking about that. That wasn't. I wasn't.
It was in a movie, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a movie.
Yeah.
It was a Stephen King thing, and it was the '80s.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was bad.
Yeah.
But
I
there
get
were a
it's
lot
pop
of like
cultural reference.
I think though that this drug it presents an opportunity for so many people to just be free of the prison of our own bodies. Those of us who have these genetic factors, or those of us who are in environments that are just so pressing upon you. The fact of the matter, the numbers speak for themselves. People who are actually the healthy people, the people who look down and have shit to say about this, are in the minority. Over time, that curve of people who it's strictly like a genetic lottery kind of thing. For the rest of us who are normal human beings, whose bodies are developing at a normal thing, responding to this hyper, focused, fattening, stressful environment. Where food is meant to comfort, and who wouldn't seek that, when we're increasingly more isolated from everybody else. This is a hard landscape to navigate. And somehow they came up with a course of drugs that, this is when did we ever see anything like this in our lifetimes? We've seen the iPhone, we've seen, rotary phones to iPhone to all that kind of stuff. This is another one of those things that just makes me feel like we're living at this insane, kind of juncture in history. And, the thing that sucks now, and that I was so glad to hear about this show, is that there is a barrier to entry. It's definitely financial. It's definitely, and unfortunately, so many of the people who are, suffer the most from this, or, from these effects are, economics are definitely a factor of it, where you grew up in the availability of food and all that. So, I now, like I said, I am doing everything I can to just kind of put my story out there, hoping that more people are aware. That's another reason I love this community so much, especially, people like you guys who are constantly following the news, putting stuff up like that. We know that competition in the market and all that kind of stuff will eventually bring in new forms of the drugs and orals and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully that brings prices down, but, someone's been watching my TikToks. I'm just saying that stuff it's really exciting because, there's, every once in a while you might have kind of a day where you want to gatekeep and you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But normally this is one of those things where it's like, how can you even evangelize for it? You can't walk up to somebody on the street and be like, hey, I got something that'll help you over here. I don't want to say anything offensive, but I'm just saying this,
but you want to help them. It's so hard not to. Because you see it, it's a reflection. You're like, but you can't, like, if someone said it to me and I didn't know, I'd be super offended.
Okay. I
try to flip it on myself, but
we took our kids to a water park. This is like the first. Now this is like post a lot of this weight. So I'm back to not being the shirt guy. I'm actually like kind of like and like
hope you're wearing sunscreen though.
What's that?
I hope you're wearing sunscreen though.
It was indoors, but I was being cautious. I was like, I don't know how this works. Forgive me. People are like, what are you doing? But I remember seeing one particular person in there who, they were, just kind of there, and they had one of those glucose monitors on their arm. So I'm like, you've got diabetes. Like, this is all like, we have a similar,
That's
kind
really
of
good point.
thing here. And I just, I didn't say anything, but I really was kind of almost like, hey, so you got diabetes, yeah? The creepiest, like, they're like, you need to work on your pickup line, sir. I'm like, hey, we got the little monitor there. I still got the finger
I like
stick.
your monitor. I've tried that freestyle.
Wow. Wi-Fi. That's that's
funniest guest award.
Truly.
Well, I just am over the moon. To the fact that y'all even noticed me in this space and And I really think what you're doing is so important. I mean, I'm not joking. I am humbled when I watch your content. You know what I mean? It's aspirational. I'm like, one day I'll be able to offer something of value like this. You know what I mean? But it grounds me. It really makes me appreciate, how much, this is really impacted people. Of course, I know how it's impacted myself. I mean, it's almost unquantifiable. And that's why I love that you give, you're giving people a chance to kind of have that rooftop to shout off of. You know what I'm saying? Because this really is something that it's miraculous. And
it is miraculous.
And it was like Rosie said, you know what I mean? Where she's like, like, I want to be, it's like, you're just like, you're like, preach, like, let's go. Like,
when she was like, it killed me like these days when we go back and look at the shorts and stuff. And Rosie was like, if I could be the sponsor for free so people could afford their medication. And she's like, I would do it. And it would be the greatest gift of my life. And I was like, I love you, Rosie.
We were all trying to like hold,
and we're still like, hey, Eli, Lily, listen.
Listen. Yeah. Anyway. Well, it's a lovely compliment.
They are listening. I know they have to be.
They have to be listening.
I hope out of here.
Well, thank you so much. We would love for you to stay. We do have Dr. Sasha High on, and she's going to talk with us a little bit about the clinical side of all of this, so we can kind of understand and nerd out with her some, and kind of make sense of all of these things we've experienced. Like, hey, guess what? There's science behind that,
Oh, wait, hold on.
And like, let's talk about that.
Let's do it out. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. All right, nerd now. All right, everybody's nerd now. Woo, woo, woo. All right,
science. I got my glasses on.
Ring it in. Ring it in. Dr. High.
Hi. I feel bad that I don't have my glasses with me.
Oh no, you need them. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me. This is great. It's been fun listening to all of you.
Well, we're so glad to have you. I mean, part of what we do here on the Plus Size is try to validate people's stories with facts and data and science, because we are attempting to change a narrative, right? And frankly, and I've said this before, and I'm just going to be like super candid. The narrative is that right now, I think it's starting to change, is that if you are taking these medications, you are fat and lazy. And if you're going on podcasts and TikToks and talking about it, you are fat and lazy, and you should be at the gym, and you're taking medications from people that are more deserving, and you're the problem. And the only way I've ever seen to be able to change those things is to come at things with logic, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Like, combine the story with the science, and like, that's where you come in. So speaking of that, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do, and then everybody will understand why you're here. So.
All right. Well, I'm an internist and an obesity physician. I've been practicing obesity medicine since 2012, and I trained at the University of Toronto, and I'm based just out of Toronto. And my interest is really helping women with obesity who've been harmed by like toxic diet culture and who have developed disordered eating behaviors. And I use cognitive behavioral approaches to address disordered eating, like mindless snacking, binge eating, compulsive overeating, even emotional eating. And we equip women with these tools and really empower them to create their healthiest habits. And so my whole approach is really managing weight from a place of like kindness and honoring your body and loving your body, as opposed to like the shame-based approaches that we've seen in the past and kind of hating on your body. So that is what I do. My program is called Best Weight, and it is available across the world. It's a combined coaching and medical program. So for all of our Canadian clients, we have physicians, obesity physicians in every province who do the medical side of things in terms of medical supervision for the GLP-1s or any other anti-obesity medication that we might be using in our toolbox. And we really look at that comprehensive approach to creating your healthiest lifestyle, addressing the emotional and the cognitive side of things, as well as the physiological side of things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for explaining that to us. So in terms of like these sort of unhealthy cycles, like how does diet mentality, like the whole idea behind like the diet culture, how does it keep us from having like these healthy habits? How does it make
unhealthy cycles like happen and continue?
Yeah, I think it's rooted in, like, diet mentality was rooted in needing to create a certain aesthetic, right? Like, it really was never about health. It was about creating the way, primarily women, but how a woman's body should look. And the answer to creating that aesthetic was that you just need to eat less, right? Eat less, exercise more, which everyone has heard. And that's all about restriction, right? And restriction feels terrible when you try to do that over a long period of time. It feels like deprivation. It's about food rules. You follow these rules and you'll lose weight. And anytime we have rules imposed upon us, we have this part of our brain that's really wants to rebel against that. It's like, I call it the toddler. And the toddler's like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm following my own rules. And so we have this sense of like, screw it, I'm not going to follow these diet rules. And so the diet can only last for so long, right? Because it doesn't feel like it's your values and like what you want to be doing. It feels like something that's imposed on you, and human beings just don't really like that. So
that's a super good point. Yeah.
It just does. It has to feel good for you to continue doing it. Otherwise you're just not going to continue doing that for the rest of your life. And there's so many problems with it, right? Like, even the idea of like, diets create good and bad foods, or maybe we label that in a nice package and we call it like red light and green light foods to make it sound better. But really it's the same thing at the end of the day. It's like villainizing foods. And then if you eat those foods, you're now a bad person. And so then guilt and shame enters in, and all of these emotions just lead to very short-term interventions, because no one continues to make positive changes from a place of shame or guilt or feeling terrible about themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, building on that, you mentioned cognitive behavioral coaching with your practice. Could you touch on the definition of cognitive behavioral coaching and what differentiates it from other approaches to therapy and coaching in the realm of, I want to say diet, but not obesity treatment. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Coaching is a really broad term, and it can range from everything from those people on the internet who write out like a meal and exercise plan and prescribe it to you, or having someone text you every day for accountability. So it is a really broad term. The way I frame it with cognitive behavioral coaching is we're really using tools from different psychotherapeutic modalities like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, which is DBT, and acceptance commitment therapy, which is ACT. We're just kind of taking tools and skills that we've picked up from these different modalities to really show people how, when we work on mindset and when we work on reframing unhelpful or self-defeating cognitions, that really is what can lead to sustained behavior change and getting the results that you're wanting in your life. So it's really looking at the effect of our thoughts and our feelings or emotions, and how that can impact the choices that we make, the actions that we take. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And while you were talking, I was just like, and I was just going through my mind of, just going through my thoughts of, well, what are some of the thoughts that I think throughout the day, especially like when it comes to food, like if I'm walking through the airport and I walk past Popeyes, which smells amazing. And it used to be where I would be like, no, Trini, you can't do it. And I would shame myself as opposed to, but thanks for touching on that. But my question is, can we address the common misconception that GLP-1 medications are silver bullets? So many, especially new members of the GLP-1 community, are just like, well, I'm taking these medications and that's supposed to be it. So can GLP-1 medications be used by themselves for obesity treatment?
So the answer, it's never a simple answer. For sure, they are being prescribed by themselves all over the place, right? You can go to your family doctor and you can get a GLP-1 medication. And I think that there is benefit to that. Like, I don't think that we need to withhold medication and say, like, you have to work on behaviors to get this medication. We don't do that with any other medical condition, right? But I think, and from experience with a lot of people, there will be limitations, right? So you can absolutely take medication, do nothing else, and you will end up eating less, and you will end up changing some of those behaviors because the medication is going to help you to do that. But the more you combine it with tools to overcome stress eating, or just like habit snacking because it's 9 o'clock at night and that's what you do when you're place, right? The more you become aware of that, or the more you hear your body. And so you're like, hey, you know what? Let me build muscle. Let me build strength, because that feels good. It gives me confidence. The more you combine those things, the more you're going to see improvements in your health and those overall changes and results. And I think, when we talk about emotional eating and the cognitive behavioral tools, where that comes in is, let me give you an example. You can be taking a GLP-1 medication, but if you're not like Cory, who lost a significant amount of weight very quickly, that's not everyone's story, right? So let's say it's someone else who's taking these medications, but maybe it's coming off a little bit slower, and your whole self-talk the whole time is like, nothing's working. Like, this is going so slow. What's wrong with my body? Like, my body's broken and I can never lose weight. That self-talk, right? That internal narrative makes you feel demotivated, defeated, whatever kind of D word you want to use. And the consequence of that is you start engaging in self-defeating behaviors. So you start making poor choices. You start kind of screw it eating. And that's where we have to look at, how are my cognitions, which is a fancy word for thoughts, how are my thoughts, my inner self-talk impacting the choices that I'm making, how I'm showing up for myself every day? Because if we can empower those thoughts, we're going to take better actions and make better choices.
Yeah.
Great.
And then you mentioned the night snacking, the night habits, and that was the course that I'm in the middle of listening to while I'm on the way to my cycle classes in the morning.
Yay! Thanks, Kat.
Yeah, because the whole the mouth hunger, which you said, heart hunger, and it's making sense. It's making sense. And for everybody out there, it's on SashaHighMD.com. Just everybody. Did I get the site right?
Yeah, SashaHighMD.com. That's my website. And we have a free course called Stop Nighttime Snacking. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of, I don't want to give it all away.
We will put all of that in the show notes for sure, too. So everybody can have access to it.
Yeah. But what are some tips that you can share with us right now for our listeners, just to kind of those who are struggling with nighttime snacking?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll give the framework that I outline in the course. And really, I describe overeating, because any type of nighttime snacking, mindless eating, binging, compulsive, it's all overeating, right? Anytime we are using food when we're not actually needing it for nourishing our bodies, we're overeating. And I think that definition is important, because a lot of people think overeating and they think that means binging, right? But it's like, no. It's like going to your friend's house and having coffee cake as you're drinking tea is overeating if you're not actually hungry at that time and needing that food for fuel. And so we all do it. We all overeat. It's when the overeating becomes problematic that we want to address it. So when we look at nighttime snacking, I kind of break down overeating into three things. It's either you're over hungry because you were restricting during the day, trying to make up for yesterday's overeating, you're skipping meals, you're just not prioritizing eating. And so now you're getting to nighttime, you're winding down and you're over hungry. And so you just consume all the things, you're eating too much. Or it's over desire, which is the food stories that we have, right? Like Janine, you were saying Popeyes just tastes, it smells so good. We have these food stories of but I'll just have one and it's so delicious. And I only get this one time.
So magical. Yeah.
Right? So we have over desire, which is urges and cravings. And then we have emotional eating. And if we tackle those three things, then we can stop using food when we don't need to be using food. So kind of the simple things over hunger is really, how are you nourishing your body during the day? How are you feeling yourself? Are you giving yourself enough protein? Are you getting the fiber, the veggies in? Are you kind of balancing out with the complex carb? So really focusing on that balanced nourishment during the daytime. And I like to just describe it as your daytime version of you is helping out your nighttime version of you. Right. So daytime you can do nighttime you a big favor by planning a little bit to make sure you're fueling well. And then the second part, which is over desire, is really looking at how are we talking to ourselves about food? What are the kind of sexy food stories that we're creating? And do we want to start maybe reframing those stories, challenging them, learning how to address urges, which is, just those cravings that come up in our mouth. As you were saying earlier, we kind of frame it as heart hunger, mouth hunger. So mouth hunger is when you just want something crunchy or you want something sweet and you can feel it in your mouth. That's not physical hunger. That would be mouth hunger or psychological hunger. And so we can kind of learn that, hey, we can allow urges to be present without actually reacting to them, by going and eating the food. So it's normal. We have urges all the time. Like if you get angry, you might have an urge to punch someone. Doesn't mean you go do it because you have a frontal cortex that inhibits that behavior. We can actually apply some of those same principles with food. It's just that food is a very powerful reinforcer of behavior. So when you've done it once, that feedback, that reward that you get from eating the food at 9 o'clock at night, when you're winding down, watching Netflix after a stressful day and your kids have been a disaster and they've finally gone to bed, and you eat the ice cream or the chips or whatever it is, and you get that reward, that dopamine to your brain, that's a very powerful reinforcer. So now the next night, your brain's going to remind you to do that again. And that's how habits kick in. So that's kind of what's going on in the background of why we can so easily get into these habits of overeating foods or using foods, to fix boredom or stress or frustration or just out of habit, because our brains learn really quickly. And so we can tackle that with the over desire piece. And then the last one is the emotional. And really what I teach is that, we need to learn how to feel our emotions. And because none of us learns about emotions in school at any point, we become these adults who have all these emotions. And all we've heard is like, don't cry, or, cheer up, be happy. And so we think that when we experience a quote unquote negative emotion, which is an unpleasant sensation, that's a bad thing. And so a lot of us use food to escape feeling these things without realizing they're totally normal, totally part of the human experience. And so we actually just need to learn some skills for how to allow those emotions to be present without needing to use food to distract from them.
Wow.
Yes, they said
I feel like that was a lot.
It is a lot. I remember talking to one of my therapists about it's numbing out sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
Just you don't want to feel, so you're going to isolate and have a bag of chips.
Exactly.
Or the only thing you want to feel is the pleasure from the dopamine hit you're getting from eating the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just numb out.
But that includes chewy chocolate chip cookies and
it does.
All of that. But thank you for explaining that, because I know I have gone through life and wondering, well, why would I just be like, quote unquote, drawn to certain foods? And I may have never even tried them, but it was something that I smelled and it just said, oh, well, I guess it made me feel good, but I'd never tasted it. So thank you for explaining that. But with that, I know I always think about, talking to obesity specialists and, advocates, and we gain, knowledge from you all. We know that, hormonal imbalances are a contributor to weight gain, especially those of us who are in perimenopause, menopause. So resulting, sometimes in obesity. How can we balance emotional, hormonal, and behaviors? So in other words, how would one start their own approach to it all? Because it can seem really overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think that's where obesity medicine is actually quite complex, and why we have obesity specialists looking into all of this, because you really do kind of have to address all the pieces, and it's going to be different for everyone too, right? So my area of interest is disordered eating, emotional eating behaviors. Not everyone with obesity is an emotional eater, right? And lots of people are emotional eaters and they don't have obesity also.
Totally. Yeah.
And so everyone is going to be different, and really does require that individualized approach. And so, meeting with an obesity specialist who can kind of address, your weight history is a really good place to start, because, for example, we can tell so much from, if you're someone who has had obesity since you were 4 years old, right? There is just a strong genetic component there for sure, right? As opposed to that person who maybe was lean their whole life, and then they had a car accident, they became depressed, they were put on antidepressants, and now, they've got chronic pain, and they've gained weight and developed obesity. So there's just so many different causes, and it really takes someone who can look at all of that, look at the whole picture, and treat that individual. And that will require sometimes the medical treatment, whether that's an anti-obesity medication like a GLP-1, or even bariatric surgery sometimes. And then someone who can kind of look at, okay, how can we create our healthiest behaviors? And the reality is, all of us need to be working towards our healthiest behaviors, no matter what your body size, no matter if you have obesity or not. That's the goal for all of us. And it doesn't happen by default in our current environment, especially what Cory was talking about earlier. Like we live in an obesogenic environment full of hyperpalatable foods where we're sedentary and we're isolated and we're stressed out. Everything is conducive to not our best health. And so we have to be really intentional about that. And then others of us have learned that food is a really good coping tool, right? To get through like hard times, or to not even just to get rid of negative emotion, but to create positive emotion, right? Some of us, food is like the most fun thing that we've got going on in our lives. And so we have to look at that too. And so we kind of have to tackle each one. And rather than that being really overwhelming, because I know it's like, well, where do I even start? I think the starting place is just choose one of those things, right? Just choose one of those things to start looking at and get the support that you need, whether that's from a therapist or from your physician or from a nurse practitioner. Like there's, there are many more resources. And I think that's the exciting thing about this field. Since I've been practicing, like we used to have no tip, like we had nothing to offer people when I was first starting. Like we would just give them a list of 200 calorie snacks. And like, that was the extent of it. We'd give them like a calorie and like, that was all we did, because that was all we had. Right. Yeah. And so the hope message is now we have a lot more. We have a lot more tools. We have a lot more medical treatments that we can offer people. And physicians it's a slow turning of the tides, but it's getting there. Right. So reaching out to your physician and then, asking for a referral to an obesity specialist if that's needed, I think is a good place to start.
That's awesome. I was listening to Cory's story about food noise and about his mom and the struggles there, and I completely relate to that. And I think you're in TikTok world. Like food noise is probably like our most favorite thing to talk about, because I think that's that miraculous thing, that miraculous feeling that we feel, because we didn't even know how loud it was until it was off. And I've been very fascinated by when that turned off, what my brain has been capable of doing, the energy I've been able to put in other places, the behaviors I've been able to change legitimately. I am amazed that I could not make these connections in my brain to make behavior changes until now. Now I am one of those people who's always been obese. So like I've always been big. I was a 10-pound baby. Like I'm just a big person. But that big person, like it, obviously grew and grew and grew. And I wanted to say that like, I've sort of been trying to like explain it to people, right? Like what this has been like, because people ask me, right? Especially like in my real life world, people asking me now, because they're like, you have a podcast, you interviewed Rosie O'Donnell, tell me all the things, and I'm like, okay. But like, I remember the moment I felt the emotional tide of food sever, just like you cut a cord, just like that. And I did not know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to soothe. I didn't know how to do anything. I was like, what am I going to do? What do I need to put in this hole, right? To fill this void. Yeah. And the answer was myself, right? Like that I didn't need to fill anything else. I was plenty. And like being able to like have that realization and then make different changes has made like all the difference in all of this. But it was like with the food noise before, and I suffered from, and we do talk about binge eating disorder a lot on the podcast. And I suffered from that as well since I was 8. And I have always been like that, where I would, creep down to the kitchen, just like what Cory's talking about, or I would come home and I was a latchkey kid. I would come home and I would, fix myself 2 things of SpaghettiOs and bread and whatever. And like, I was like the one thing I could control, and I've just never been able to like break that. I have not done that in a year. Not one time. And that piece of that miraculous piece, because it was like before, if I was a car, it's like I only had drive, right? It was just eat, consume. And then once I got to these medications, I remember being able to gear shift. Like I was driving to get my hair done, and I was like looking at all my fun little yummy places I have when I'm having my me time, not my mommy time or my wife time, or you know what I mean? And it was just me. And I was going, and I remember going, oh, I want to go over there and get like a hot dog or something. And then I went, no, I don't think I do. Yeah. My brain does not work like that. That blew my mind. And it was in that moment that I realized I could change everything. Like, but I knew that this was the tool that I needed to be able to make those changes, because people have been telling me that forever. Like, you don't really want that. You don't really need that. You really don't. And I would be like, no, I do. Like, it was just, I have to have it. Like and now it blows my mind, literally, like the differences and the changes that you can make. And like, I would love to know if you have like any insight into like, what is that? And why is that happening? Because it's incredible. And I want everybody to feel this way.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I think Cory mentioned it earlier, that that book about the hungry brain, and it really is so fascinating that obesity really is a disease of the brain, right? And there's the drive within the brain where some people have more of that drive to overeating, and other people don't. And these medications are like putting you on the same playing field kind of idea, right? Where it's not for lack of wanting to make your healthiest choices. It wasn't because you were a bad person who had no willpower. It's that your brain, the drive in your brain was different for the desire for these foods, and these medications really dial that down. And there have been studies looking at like loss of control around food, loss of control eating, and seeing improvements with the GLP-1 medications in terms of like control of eating questionnaires, because it's just kind of dialing down that like the wanting or the desire to go and get more food, so that you can then come in with your conscious brain that's like, you know what, I actually don't really want to eat that right now. I'm not really hungry, right?
Right.
The conscious. Yes. Yes. I love that. That's the thing. The conscious brain. Yes.
Maybe I'll just go live, I'll just go.
Yeah.
Do something. Yeah. I noticed that too, Kim. I always remember going to the grocery store because I had to, we got to buy food. And every time I would go in, I knew I'd have a thought of like, I could eat some cookies on the way home. I don't have that urge to. First of all, I make better cookies than any grocery store cookie. But anyway, but however, but there's like a zero desire. I just walk by, meh.
Yeah.
It was just
awesome.
Well,
you almost have that kind of moment where you're like, is this what it's like to be a normal person? Like it's because I felt the exact same thing. I guess for some people they're like, I'm repulsed by food, and I'm like, that didn't happen to me. Like for me, it was just it was like the whole thing where you'd be like, oh, here's an opportunity, gonna get that brownie, maybe have that second cupcake or whatever. Oh yeah, like get an Italian beef, and then now you're just like, but I'm not, I'll do that, just you have that habit, you go up to the kitchen, the fridge is right there. I'm like, I'm going to go get X from the fridge. And then I'm like, wait, I'm not hungry. Why am I doing that? You know what I mean? You're actually able to kind of check that. And that was something that just didn't feel like it was there before. And so that is kind of, it's interesting to just be like, oh, this is what self-control feels like. You know what I mean? But, it's, no.
There is a little, I'm sorry. Do you want to go, Janine?
No.
I do sometimes have that tendency a little bit, but it goes away. Like, even if I try, I still have this neuroses, I guess, in my brain that says, you know what? Remember how fun it was to binge? Like, that's once in a while. And then like while you're eating, like, oh, I get kind of like bummed out. I'm like, I can't wolf this down. And I'm thinking that's definitely the old neuroses. And so that's when you stop. So I do sometimes, it tries to creep back. It's like those little, like a horror movie where that little thing tries to like pop out of your stomach or something. Oh gosh. The alien, I don't know why I'm just having a moment here. Okay. But in any case.
Look, aliens popping out of stomachs. I think what Dr. High said just explains it perfectly, because I could never really articulate to someone who is not on a GLP-1, but especially tirzepatide, Mounjaro, about I'll think that I want something and I'm hung bent on getting it. And then like 2 minutes later, it's like, no, I really don't want it. And I feel like it's almost like a letdown, because I'm like, I felt like I worked up all this anticipation for this food or this craving. And then all of a sudden, 1-2 minutes later, no, I don't want it. So, but I'm just like, no, and I'm good. But I do have cravings, though. Maybe like once a month. I love peanut M&Ms, and I will go to the store and you pick it up by the register, and I'll eat it. But it doesn't have the same value, for lack of a better term, that it used to have. So are food cravings normal? while on GLP-1 medications, and how often should one indulge in them?
Food cravings are going to be normal as long as you're a human being that's still alive and breathing, right? So, and this is, I think, the piece that a lot of my clients and patients misunderstand too, because they're like, when is the day that I don't have to struggle with a food craving ever again? It's like that, like when you die, you will not have food cravings anymore.
Oh, wow.
Do they wind down? Absolutely. Like the more, the foods that we eat are either going to jack up our cravings or create more peace for our bodies. And so there's a lot of value in addressing how we are eating if we want to minimize food cravings, but we can't escape them altogether. So we're always still going to have some cravings. And the approach that I take with what I'll call the sometimes foods, right? So the foods that maybe we don't want to be eating every single day, but we also don't want to say that they're off limits, because as soon as they're off limits, they're the forbidden fruit, and then our brain just like wants lots of them, right? So the approach I take is really every single person needs to get to a place where the decisions that they're making are based on their own personal values, because our values have to drive the direction that we're taking in our life. And that means there is going to be some days where it's absolutely worth it for you to eat the peanut M&Ms, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to mindfully taste them, and you're not going to feel guilty afterwards. And then there's other days where you're going to be like, you know what, just because I'm stressed out and it's 8:00 at night and I'm driving home from work is not the reason for me to just indulge in the peanut M&Ms. And so I'm going to say no to myself, even though part of me wants that instant gratification, right? I'm not saying no because I can't ever have them or that they're bad food or I'm a bad person for desiring them. I'm going to say no because that's a loving choice for me right now. So there's a huge difference, right? The M&Ms are not the problem. The chocolate cake is not the problem. The chips are not the problem. It's the approach and the intention behind it. And that's always going to be an individual decision of like, is it aligned with my values to make this choice right now, right? Like maybe it's your value to enjoy a certain holiday, and that's tied to family and tradition. And so you're going to indulge a little bit more than on those sometimes foods. And you're not going to be having it when it's like picking up a slice of cake from Walmart because you're like hungry when you're grocery shopping, right? Like there's just such a difference between them, and the food is not the issue. It's how are we using the food and how are we making those choices? And are we making those choices from a place of being empowered to make our best choices, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Makes total sense. Like when I was at the shower with Kat, like I really don't eat sweets.
Not after
and when I was at the shower,
not
in the shower, at the baby shower with Kat, which I referenced at the beginning, Kat. Just saying.
You were not at the gym, okay.
But she made cupcakes and she made gluten-free ones, which is what I do. And so I ate one, and it was and I was okay with it. I was in the moment. I didn't feel guilty. I've done so many different things, and I didn't even like weigh, should I? I was like, it's a moment. Right. And my friend here has made cakes at our friend's baby shower, and it's a gluten-free for me, and it was just like, I was like, yeah, this is the time. And it was just, I think that's awesome. I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think that the logical thing that we forget is like eating that one cupcake is not what drives weight gain and drives obesity, right? It's when you eat that cupcake, then you feel terrible for eating the cupcake. So then you eat like 5 more things at the shower, and then you get home, you binge a little bit more, and the next day you're feeling terrible. So you're like, I'll start my diet in January. And so you just keep eating, right? Like,
true.
That's the problem. And that comes from restricting. It comes from thinking that we can't have certain things, right? So that's where like, it just goes back full circle back to why toxic diet culture is such a problem. Because it pretends to be the solution, but it's actually creating the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's so helpful. Dr. High, this has been such a lovely conversation. I appreciate you giving us so much of your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And I know you've got some busy stuff going on. So I know you got to go. And I just wanted to make sure I told you how much we appreciated it. And I know that our listening and viewers are really going to love this.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. It's been lots of fun. Thanks for having me.
And I've got your bio, but if you want to send me the link to any of the things, do that. And I'll put it in the show notes for our audience.
Amazing. Yeah. That's
okay.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. She's fabulous. I love it. What a good conversation. Yeah, she had some busy household going on with kids and stuff. So
I kept hearing stuff. I was like, is that my house? I was freaking out a little bit. Nobody's here, supposedly.
And we were like chatty Cathy's and Carter's, like over here talking. And, I was like, make sure we give her an opportunity to go. So I felt kind of bad about it. Yeah. But that was really nice. Didn't you guys think? Yes. And Cory, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. And for the lovely things that you've said about the podcast and what we're trying to do. I appreciate it so much.
I like I said, I hope I, was at least entertaining, you
were. We laughed our butts off. It was great.
This was an amazing experience. I will come back anytime you want me to. Just say it if you run out.
Listen, Cory, we have guest hosts. It's a thing. Because we all have our day jobs.
I'm just saying, listen, if this is a good addition. Also, I just wanted to say, maybe y'all should talk to Popeye's Chicken about getting a little sponsorship.
I'm just saying.
A grilled chicken.
It was talking about Popeyes. I was like, you know what? I might get some Popeyes.
Yeah, I'm here for the red beans and rice. Like that's what I'm here
for. Seriously. Oh, you gotta.
I love it.
Come on, just do the sides. Just do the sides. Fine. I rode my bike.
They don't have not one grilled chicken.
They used to.
They do.
Yes, they have more. They haven't had it in forever.
Grilled chicken.
They still do. They used to have these things called naked tenders, and they were.
I know. I get it, Cory. Like if you're going to go to Popeyes, usually.
I mean, you're like, I don't know.
Out here, it's Bojangles.
I gotta try it.
Have you tried it?
No.
You're a Midwesterner, right? I don't stalk you, but I stalk you. Like I do see your TikTok. I know you're in the Midwest.
It's a pleasant stalking.
No, we don't have Bojangles. They just the people are freaking out right now because we got a Raising Cane's. They're like, great, and I'm like,
Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's. Put
talking about
Chick-fil-A and all of them to shame. I'm telling you,
that's sacrilege. You can't talk bad about
Bojangles.
No.
Look, for me, I guess.
No.
Well, there was a hyper local place by me that there's a place called the Village Tavern. It's in Schaumburg, Illinois, and they do this thing with these chicken strips where they're ripping off the whole hunks, and they have their breading is on point, but they have their secret weapon is this honey mustard that is just it's I've never seen it. I've never met its equal anywhere across the land, and It's funny though, because of this, I was actually in my town. I was like, maybe I'll go do that thing. I was like, maybe I'll go to the Village Tavern and get some chicken fingers. And I'm like,
that's the thing, right? You go,
listen, you won't.
Because you're thinking about the memory. You're thinking about how it made you feel.
Yeah.
You were talking about
the emotional connection to it.
But
the emotional connection. And then you're like,
with Raising Cane's, they trust me, they are based out of Louisiana. And they're opening one here in Atlanta.
Are they really? Ooh, plus sides. We need to do that. We'll go to Raising Cane's and raise some
my life. And when they said when you said Raising Cane's, I was like, ooh.
I saw you were like,
I saw that. I was like,
you did get the spirit. I saw it. Look, it was like, hallelujah.
Look, I sure
the spirit
did.
spoke through her. It was there.
Listen,
a lot of mercy.
Look. Raising Cane's will give you your life.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
I'm excited.
Speaking
You're going to take us there, JT, when they open.
I will. Trust me. I will
It'll be a whole thing.
I'll be the first person there like this.
Are they just chicken fingers? Just chicken tenders? That's how they sell?
Honey. Chicken tenders. Their sweet tea will make you. I don't do sweet tea.
I'm originally from the Midwest. I did not grow up on sweet
what? Until you experience
madness.
Let me tell you.
People that don't have sugar tea.
Oh, look. Oh, it's just heavenly, fattening goodness.
All right, we'll do it.
Also,
we're going to be okay with it because it's going to be about a moment. It's going to be about a value. We're going to love it.
Popeyes, Raising Cane's.
Yes, have the chicken without your fries.
Let's go. We're all team this.
Heart is our power. Our marketing
strategy. I love it. Also, it's been super good hanging out with Cory. And listen, there are times where the girls all can't make it, and I need co-host. So if you're interested
you're interested in being a guest co-host, like I would totally be excited about that.
I will send you. Where do I send my resume? Let's do this. Girls, play hooky. I got you. You want to go?
You struggle with any kind of metabolic disorder? You're in my camp.
Nice. Yeah. No. I mean, seriously. I mean, no. I don't think I could even come close to doing what you guys do. But yeah, I mean, if you need somebody,
all right.
Now officially put you in our Slack channel.
I like it.
I know, right?
We do this a lot. When people come on, we're like, "Hey, you want to come on again?" They're like, "Yeah." So this is good. See, sold, done.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging with us. We're going to wrap up the show, and I'm going to exit you stage left or right. I don't know, depending on what size you're looking at. Goes back to that mirror thing we talked about, right? What are we looking at?
Oh, that's a good one. There you go.
Are we going to star wipe me out? It's like, and see.
Wouldn't that be great? If I knew anything about any of this and how to do those fancy things, that's exactly what I do.
Here's your special effects. Close up, zoom.
Have like your little head and go, you be gone, There he goes. There he goes.
Oh, chairs with wheels. What a world.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cory. It's been really good having you on, and I will be in touch about said,
yeah, no, for
when
sure.
we're
guest
missing
situation. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again sometime. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
That was fun. Oh my God, that was so fun. I love it. What a good time. We learned stuff, talked about behaviors. I like it, because I think that's something we have to consider too going forward. And we're seeing this as people have been in this 6 months, a year, and then some at this point, right? Specifically with Mounjaro, right? The others have been around longer, but we're seeing it. They're getting closer to maintenance, right? And they're getting closer to what that world's going to look like from it. Because if you're not, like, especially if you always struggle with weight, like if in my mind, it's like, if I was always gaining or losing, what am I if I'm not gaining or losing? Like what is that state of being? Because I can't think of what that's ever been like before, And I feel like our friends that are going into maintenance, we're seeing like, just because they're in maintenance does not mean it's hunky dory. They don't know that they're always going to get their medication. They don't know that the medication isn't going to stop working. They don't know if the behavior changes they've made are going to stick or not, because technically they're sick and they need their disease treated so that they can continue those behavior changes. Right. And they don't know those things. So we have to continue to support each other and to help each other when we have, I think with behavior change, I always focused on is, instead of being alone and instead of being quiet and wanting to blend in, and instead of beating myself up and going to bed early or going downstairs and eating like that change, I reached out to my community. And even though it was hard, and even though it was embarrassing, and even though it was vulnerable, I knew through that pain, something could come out at the other end. And this is what it is. This is what's coming on the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's good. And it's about having hard conversations and being vulnerable and learning together and healing together. And like, that's what we hope to bring you on this podcast, So we hope that you'll keep tuning in and hanging with us because we love it. And we feel honored to be able to do it. All of us do. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do our classic sign-offs.
We could. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You got anything new?
I have an NSV.
I'm too tired. I have nothing. Yeah, let's do NSV's word. Let's do that.
Oh.
I like it.
All right. So while I was working out today,
I
felt my pants slipping down my butt. Ooh. And see, active wear can still fit even when like you shrink a little bit. I just pull it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're
sliding down my butt. I kept having to do this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's what I say. Like, now I could be a lot stricter. Or not stricter. That's still that diet culture.
No,
I can still
that's the diet culture. We just talked about that. Let's flush that shit down the toilet.
What I mean is,
that's where it goes.
I'm very laid back with my approach because I just want it to be long term anyway. So I'm super laid back. I'm not really anal about it. But so like I said, I've really dropped like 3 more pounds, but it's just like, so once I start going with.
Well, listen, I saw you at the shower and your booty be popping. It's like, bam. I told her, I was like, bam, bam.
I'll start working with a trainer now too. So I'm going to get some like really great ideas for footage for butt stuff.
Oh yes. For butt stuff footage. It's not what you think. Go back and watch all the other episodes where we talk about butt
Dang
stuff.
it. Cory's already gone. We could have made so many jokes with the butt stuff with Cory.
Oh my gosh. I have an SB this week too.
Have him back,
we'll have to have Cory back. Yeah, he'll have to come back. It's a must. It's done. It's the fate is sealed. He's going back.
His fate is sealed.
Yeah, his fate is sealed. Let's tell him.
Look,
we were all laughing our butts off. There's no way we're not. See, butts off. See, he does butt stuff too. Yeah.
Butt stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
I had I guess NSV for me too. I had scale stuff too, but I'm way more I like the NSVs even better, you know?
Yeah.
I have been really trying to connect with my body, my current body, because I look in the mirror and I still see my old body. And what I mean by old body is my most recent body before I started taking this medication. And so I've been trying to get, and like a lot of times my therapist has said, like, try to do yoga, try to do different things that make you like connect with your body. Right. And I think that's important, the mind body connection. And so like, this sounds kind of silly, but this is like one of the things not that I'm not doing all the other things too, naysayers, but something that I've done is I really wanted to do, like a lot of our friends in our community do TikTok shop, and they try on different clothes and different sizes. And it's sort of like trying on clothes with your girlfriends, right? Like, but on the internet, which I know sounds weird, but like, there's something therapeutic about it because everybody's kind of going through the same thing. So this constant level of support is there. You know what I mean? And I never thought I would try on anything, especially on the internets. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact that I'm doing it, you know, and like showing, and I tried on a crop top this week. I've got it on now. And I'm like, and I still got lots of tummy, but you know what? It's okay. Because it's the body that I'm in. And I'm trying to celebrate the one that I'm in because we just don't know. We're not promised tomorrow. You know, we just don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. And so I'm feeling good and like more connected to this body, you know, and that's my thing for the week. That's my NSV.
I love
you know. Yeah. What about you, JT?
I had an NSV last night. Well, early this morning, waiting for the employee bus at about 2:30 in the morning. But I was getting ready to board the bus, and one of my coworkers and sorority sisters saw me, and she didn't see me. She was like, I saw her, and I said, "Hey." She said, "Hey," like being polite, but I don't know you. Yeah. And I did have my mask on. You know, I'm getting over an upper respiratory infection. So I was like, well, let me take the mask off. Maybe it's because she doesn't recognize me because of the mask.
Ooh, an unveiling. It's so dramatic.
And I took the mask off, and her eyes went like this. And also another fellow flight attendant that I know. And they both were like, "We thought that was you, Janine, but we weren't sure." And I was like, "Oh, because of the mask?" And they said, "No, because you look like a totally different person."
Yeah.
And I was like,
you do look very different. And it's not like I thought you looked bad before or anything like that. But when you did your video of your 6 months, it's a huge difference, JT.
Is it really?
Yeah, it really is. It's really different. Like I probably wouldn't known it was the same person. Not like, I'm not saying like you look so drastically different that I wouldn't be able to like really look and see, but it's very different. I would not have thought that was you.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that means so much coming from you all. But that was the second time that had happened just from like Sunday, like literally when I went to church, a church member was like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hey." And they're like, "Oh my gosh." And like people are shocked now looking at me. So
it's amazing when you actually can treat a disease that you have, you know, and what happens to your health and how it improves. And everyone should have the right to treat their disease. They all deserve to have it treated, you know, and good things come from that. Good things come from that because you're working like you should. You're working like you should.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it. Yeah. Like awesome. It. Well, this has been a lovely conversation as always, ladies. Thank you very much.
Yes, it has.
They get more fun as they go. Every single one gets more and more fun.
Yes. We have new topics. It's a good time. We heal together. We laugh together. Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion, you know?
But it's always something to talk about because this community is forever evolving. Yeah.
And evolving, exactly.
It is forever evolving. And thank you all. And thank you, Kim, and thank you, Kat, for, you know, even when you said, oh, well, I lost 3 pounds. The closer I get to my goal, because I'm not far, I'm under 10 pounds from my goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge.
Those 3 pounds mean so much. And it's not the number, but it's just like, okay, we're going to a different phase of the journey.
Phase of the journey. Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I'm sad, but this is this is such uncharted territory because it is still a thing. And even if you're still actively on your journey, dosing is something that is continually coming up.
Yes.
What do we do?
What do we do?
What do you do?
Look, I don't know.
Dude, nowadays it's
I feel like it's even more. And I also think it's going to be even more complex for our type 2 friends like JT. So like they're worrying about their like A1C on top of the weight, on top of the obesity, on top of the food noise. Like, so like what dose do they need to be at in terms of, to get the A1C in the place that it needs to be. Right. Versus, what dose like you and I need to be at to make sure that we're like maintaining the weight that we're in, for example. Right. So I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. We'll have more discussions around maintenance over the next coming months because we got lots of topics and lots of guests, and we hope you'll hang with us. Yes. But thanks so much for enjoying our long form content because I know it's hard when we come from TikTok land. Like you're everything delivered in 3 minutes, bam, bam, bam. It's like it ain't like that here.
30 seconds, really.
Yeah, it ain't like that here. We talk. This is a complicated topic, and we like to have some space to be able to do it. It's great to have our TikTok, but we want to dig in a little bit more, especially with our experts and heal together. Okay, But so it's been grand, and we will see you next week. And we love you.
Jillian says bye too.
Hasta la pasta. Next week. Bye.
Bye.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications. And I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause and I started HRT and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides Podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.